Welcome to Open Books, the coziest corner in the world. Grab your favorite blanket, find a comfy spot, and let the magic of storytelling take you into a world of dreams. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs who lived with their mother. As they grew, their mother told them they were too big to stay and urged them to build their own houses, warning them of the wolf. The first little pig built a house of straw, the second of sticks, and the third of bricks. When the wolf came, he blew down the straw and stick houses, eating the first 2 pigs. However, he couldn't blow down the brick house, and the third pig remained safe inside. "Let me come in," he cried. But the third little pig replied, "No, no. By the hair of my chinny chin chin, I will not let you in." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in," said the wolf. He huffed and he puffed, but the house of bricks did not fall down. The wolf was very angry but pretended not to be. "Little pig," he said in a soft voice, "be ready at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I shall take you to Farmer Smith's field to find some tasty turnips." The little pig agreed, but he knew the wolf wanted to eat him. So the next morning, he set off at 5 o'clock, filled his basket with turnips, and hurried home. When the wolf came, he was furious, yet pretended not to be. "Be ready at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning," he told the little pig, "and I shall take you to Farmer Brown's apple tree to pick some shiny red apples." The little pig agreed, but set off at 4 o'clock the next morning. He was already high in the tree picking apples when the wolf came along. The little pig threw an apple, and the wolf ran after it. Quickly, the little pig jumped down from the tree and ran home as fast as he could. The wolf was furious. "Be ready at 4 o'clock this afternoon," said the wolf, "and I shall take you to the fair." The little pig agreed but set off at 2 o'clock. First, he had fun on the roundabout, then he bought a butter churn. When he saw the wolf coming, the little pig jumped in the churn and rolled all the way home. When the wolf found out he had been tricked again, he was angrier than ever. He hammered on the door. Little pig," he cried, "I am going to climb down your chimney and eat you up." The little pig was very frightened but didn't say anything. He put a huge pot of water on the fire to boil and waited. The wolf clambered down the chimney, splashed right into the boiling water, and that was the end of the wolf. As he ran down the road towards the little pig's brick house, the little pig was surprised to see a wolf walking up his path, but he wasn't frightened. "Good morning, Mr. Wolf," called the little pig through the window. "Have you come to climb down my chimney? I have a nice big pot of water boiling on the fire, just waiting for you." And he laughed and laughed. "No," replied Clever Wolf. "I am not the one who is going to end up in the pot of boiling water, you are." "Oh, really?" said the little pig. "And how are you going to get into my house? I suppose you're going to huff and puff and blow it down." And he laughed even more. "No," replied Clever Wolf. "I know I cannot blow your house down, but I can bash and smash and knock it down with this." And Clever Wolf showed the little pig the very big hammer. This time, the little pig was very frightened. He hid in a corner of his house and trembled, waiting for his house to tumble down around him. Outside, Clever Wolf swung the hammer. Bash, crash, bang. The house shook, but it did not fall down. Not even one brick fell out. Clever Wolf swung the hammer again. Bash, crash, bang. The house shook again, but still, it did not fall down. Clever Wolf swung the hammer a third time, with all his might. Fast crash. The little pig crept to the window to see what had happened. There was Clever Wolf lying on the ground, holding his nose. He had swung the hammer so hard that it had bounced back into his face and hit him on the nose. The little pig laughed and laughed as Clever Wolf slowly sank back into the woods. That evening, the other wolves came to see Clever Wolf. "Where is our pig stew?" they asked. Then they saw Clever Wolf's bandaged nose. "What happened?" asked Mighty Wolf. "I did not have the right tools for the job," said Clever Wolf. "A bad work wolf always blames his tools," said Nimble Wolf, laughing. "Go ahead and laugh," said Clever Wolf. "But tomorrow, I'm going to get that little pig, and I will not share my pig stew with any of you." The next morning, Clever Wolf set off once more for the little pig's brick house. He walked quickly past the farmhouse, where the farmer was still mending his fences with a brand new hammer. "What I need," said Clever Wolf to himself, "is something big and heavy and very powerful, something that would really smash that brick house down." Just then, Clever Wolf came round a bend in the road, and suddenly his eyes lit up, for there in front of him was the very thing he needed, an enormous steamroller. A man had been mending the road, and now he was rolling it flat with the steamroller. Clever Wolf could hardly wait to get his paws on it. Just as he had done the day before, Clever Wolf hid behind a tree and waited. A few hours went by, and the man driving the steamroller began to get tired. "Oh, time for a break," sighed the steamroller driver, and he started off down the road to find a place for a rest. In a flash, Clever Wolf was up in the steamroller's cab. He pulled the lever, and the steamroller moved slowly along the road. "This is fun," he said. The little pig was surprised when he saw Clever Wolf coming up the path again, but he was not frightened. "Good morning, Mr. Wolf," he called through the window. "How is your nose today?" "It hurts," said Clever Wolf, "but not as much as you are going to hurt when I turn you into a stew." "Is that so?" said the little pig. "Have you brought your hammer back to bash my house down?" "No," said Clever Wolf. "I have got something much better today." And he pointed to the steamroller, which he had parked in the road. "I am going to bash and smash and flatten your house down." Once again, the little pig began to tremble and hid in a corner of his house, waiting for the bricks to come crashing down around him. Crash! The little pig heard. Crash! The little pig heard. Ah! The little pig heard. The little pig crept to the window to see what had happened, and there, right in the middle of his garden, was the steamroller. And there, sticking out from under it, was Clever Wolf's nose, bandage and all. Clever Wolf had forgotten to put the safety brake on when he had parked the steamroller. It had come hurtling down the path and run right over him. Later that day, back in the wood, the wolves held another meeting. "I warned him," said Mighty Wolf, "but he would not listen." "Well, at least he did not end up as wolf stew," said Nimble Wolf. "No," said Mighty Wolf, "but I hear that the little pig has a nice new rug for his brick house." "Shame about the bandage, though." "That little pig is much too clever for us," said Nimble Wolf. "We should leave him alone." And that's exactly what happened. And the one little pig lived in his brick house happily ever after. That's the end of today's story. I hope you'll listen to this and fall into a deep sleep. If you enjoyed tonight's story, please like, subscribe and share this for us before you go to bed. Sleep tight, dream big, and may your night be filled with the most sweet dreams. Good night, my friends.